What's up? Black men must stop living in fear around being culturally accepted. Now, when I was younger, I struggled this way more because when you're, a teenager, college and all that, you want to be accepted. You want to look cool so much, and even a lot of adults you see, when we're younger, they're not like that. When they get older, that's when they become more of this stereotypical type of black person. And I think that we don't really understand how deep that runs in our psychology of the men. I think the men, more importantly, you really see a big shift. That's something I've seen with many guys that I've grown up with, that when they were younger, they were more like in that childlike state of being bright, having dreams, wanting to be somebody in the world, and having all that. Their mind wasn't limited, right? When you get older and you start to see that your dreams aren't as close to you as you think they are, and not only that, but people around you start to tell you that, oh, it's okay to have a plan B, you got to do this. And then at the same time, you want to do what the girls want you to do. You want to do what the girls like. You want to be accepted and attractive around girls. And that's not just with how you look, that's with how you act and your attitude, things like that. And that's where I would see a lot of guys that would grow up, they were smart, they were intelligent, they were bright. You could tell they had like a future, they wanted to be somebody. And when they got to a certain age, you can tell like something changed where now they kind of act more into this stereotypical type of black man, And that's not for no reason. That's to be more accepted, to be culturally accepted and cool in their community. And I think that that's the problem we have in our community. But I don't want to sit here and act like it's bad to act cool or something, or it's bad to um have swag or anything like that. I think a man should have confidence, and a man should be firm, and a man shouldn't act weak, you know. So I'm definitely not against a man being a man and being strong, but we have to start looking at what's helping us and what's hurting us. And I think nowadays, we only see masculinity inside of, oh, you got to be dangerous, and you got to be self-destructive in how you act. When in reality, a man could be dangerous. If a man stand on who he is, that's a real man. And not only that, but if it's a man that's really, he embodies what it is to be a man, which means he's going to do what he want to do. He's going to act how he wants to act, obviously, but he's doing it in a way that's helping himself, So it's all about the mentality and the way you look at masculinity too, because I think that plays a part of it. Because one thing a lot of us want to be is, we want to make sure we're being respected and make sure that we're being looked at as a man in society, in the black community. And I think that a lot of the times, many guys think that means, okay, I gotta sleep with a lot of women, I gotta be able to, guys gotta respect me. I gotta be this killer. I gotta be a dude that fight all the time. I gotta be some hyper aggressive, hypersexual type of guy, right? And I think that on paper, that may look like a cool guy, but in reality, what is the long term future of that? You know? And I think that it's not that a man can't be sexual and a man can't be dangerous or hyper aggressive, but a man has to know how to use himself, and he has to do what's best for himself. And I think that the lack of structure around things, because you can see guys, bro. I see guys that, you know, they're not scared of nobody. They'll shoot you, they'll kill you, they'll fight you. It won't matter to them, right? And the thing is that I'm most concerned with is that we false identify our brother as our enemy. A lot of times, a person that should be on your side, a person that you really shouldn't have problems with, you got problems with that person, right? And that person is not even the true enemy. The true enemy is, it's bigger. It's way bigger than just that in town type of stuff, And I think that once we focus and we understand that we're not really enemies, and that it's just because we lack direction, we lack guidance, that guy on the other side that you may be fighting with, that other black man, he's not your enemy, right? And when you look at the black population, yeah, you want to see more people having kids, man. You want to see more people having families. That's something I want in the future. You know, I want to have a wife. I want to have all of these things. And I think that I want to be a good example of what a family should be. And I think every black man should try to set an example of what a good family should look like. Now, when we get caught up too much in being hypersexual and we only look at the girl just through a sexual lens, you know, you don't really get to gauge who she is on a mental level, because there's so many girls you could go around, you could sleep with. You know, years later, this girl might be on drugs. Years later, this girl might not be able to take care of her kids right. You know, so it's very, very important that you choose somebody who's intelligent and you're compatible with them. You know, they're not super emotional. They're not a person who's trying to put the kids against you. You know, and you know, it's just not a relationship that's destructive, that it will tear you down, because relationships are powerful, man. Like I say all the time, you know, relationships is what we should be focused on, but understand it's quality and affirming relationships that we should focus on. If you're in a bad relationship, that'll be even worse than if you were alone, or, you know, anything. That'll be the worst thing you can do for yourself. So it's all about understanding what's the most important thing you need to do to get what you want out of life and to be happy in life. So I think that that's the thing that we lack. You know, it's not that we don't have men who can be strong and powerful and capable. It's not like we don't have men who are strong, powerful, and capable, but it's more of, it's not in the right places, and it's not structured. And I think that that's the problem that we have in the black community with the black men. Too many of us focus on, you know, this self-destructive way of what it really means to be a man. And even in my own life, I'm understanding that you still have to face fears. You still have to do things you don't want to do. You still have to go out there and face the world, you know. But it's all about how you want to thrive as a person, and understanding that it's best to have a plan, to be structured, and to think stuff out in life. I think that that's the problem, that we don't think about stuff enough. But, you know, it can also be a problem if you think too much. So it's all about having that balance and be a man that takes action before, you know, he sits and try to think about it all day. So, yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say. And I have a guide that I made where I go into self-improvement, and it's for black men. If you want to come together with your community, self-improve, learn about finances more, eat healthier, all of those type of things. And I have a deep dive into that. If you want to check that out, the link for that will be in the bio section of my YouTube channel. So click on that, check on that. That's all I got to say. Peace out.